Shalom, welcome back. This week's Torah portion is a double portion, Bahar and Bechukosai. In the first parsha of the Torah, Bahar, it refers to the sabbatical year, that every 7 years, the Jewish people have to take off a year, rest the land. And during that time, they're not allowed to harvest or to plant. But anyone can come and take any of the produce of the land. And it's really up to anyone, including the owners, can do it. And every 49 years, there's an extra year, a Jubilee year, which we've spoken about before. And in the 50th year, it is the Jubilee year in which an extra sabbatical year is observed, and slaves are freed, and land is returned back to its original owners. And it's a tremendous celebration. The fact is that the idea of resting the land is an interesting thing. What is it all about? Is it about the land or is it about the people who work the land? In reality, it's not about the land at all. It's about the people who are working the land. The purpose of the sabbatical year is to give the people a rest, not to give the land a rest. Some people think that during the feudal system, they would keep one area of the land fallow in order to replenish the land to make it work better. That was important, but it was more important for Jews to realize what really is the important idea of life. It's not work, it's not planting and harvesting, but it is to devote time to family, to spirituality, to God, to Torah. And during that sabbatical year, just as every week we observe a Shabbos, that's the purpose of the sabbatical year. Indeed, it was to give people a rest so that people recognize the fact that the important thing in life is really not working the land, but really working on themselves. And this is a very important lesson for all of us as well, that sometimes we get so caught up in our work that we forget about ourselves and forget about really the meaning of life and what it's really all about. So that should be an important lesson for us each week. We take off on Shabbos and we spend a day with our family. We go to synagogue, we rest, we replenish our soul. And that's a very important thing to do. Many years ago, I had a friend who lived in La Paz, Mexico, all the way down to south of the Baja Peninsula here in California. And he had a store that he sold. He sold various souvenir items that the Mexican tourists would purchase. And there were many, many stores along the street where he worked. He had the store. And he decided one day that he's going to keep Shabbos. So he went to his wife and he said to his wife, "We're going to close the store on Shabbos." She said, "Really? You really want to do that? That's our most important day. That's our busiest day." As a matter of fact, I think he sold electronics in that store. Well, his wife went along with him, and but his in-laws were very opposed to it. They thought he was committing economic suicide. He said, "You will declare bankruptcy. You'll never make it. If you can't compete with the others, you won't be able to survive." But he decided he's going to do it. So one Shabbos, he decided he's going to close the store. He put a sign out on the window saying that due to the Jewish Sabbath, I am closing my store from Friday night until Saturday night. We'll be open up Saturday night at a certain time, he said, after the stars come out. And he went home and he enjoyed a nice Shabbos with Shabbos meals. There was no synagogue in La Paz. I don't know if there still is. And he spent the time with his family and everything. And all the time wondering what's going to be. Well, Saturday night, he went to a store to take a look. And lo and behold, there was a line up outside his store, people waiting to get in. He was astonished. He was astounded. Why were they all lined up out in front of his store? Because, when you buy electronics and things like that, you always think that you're going to be taken advantage of. Is the product really worthwhile? Maybe the store owner is a unsavory person. But if someone is closed on Shabbos, if someone has religious values, what does this tell the customer? It tells the customer that this person has values. This person is an honest person. And therefore, the people preferred buying their electronics from him. And he continued doing that the whole time he lived in La Paz until eventually he closed up shop for good and moved to Mexico City. So we see that God gives blessings to the land by Jewish people working the land, by Jewish people keeping Torah, keeping mitzvahs. Therefore, God gives blessings, and the blessings that are given are in abundance. I want to wish you all a good Shabbos. Candlelighting tonight is at 7:17, and everything should be well. We will see you next week.